Well, Patrick, better late than never. The Republicans are racing now to finish the state budget that was delayed for several weeks by this big dispute over roads and also the Foxconn deal. So where are they at now?
So it looks like the end is near. The Joint Finance Committee on Wednesday finished its work on the state budget. That'll now go to the floor of the Assembly and the Senate. It looks like there's pretty broad agreement after this 2-month delay. So I expect next week both the Senate and Assembly will take it up and pass it. If not next week, then certainly by the early part of the following week, unless we hit some kind of major turbulence.
So there were some changes on taxes. Governor Walker didn't get exactly what he wanted. What did the Joint Finance Committee end up doing there?
So the governor had proposed a pretty broad, though modest, income tax cut that would have hit all income taxpayers, and made some changes for the working poor to restore some money to a tax credit that had earlier been taken away. The Republicans shifted on the Joint Finance Committee shifted away from that and instead made a business tax cut for the personal property tax. And they did some things like get rid of the alternative minimum tax, which largely benefits wealthier taxpayers. So they made a shift away from the sort of tax cut that would have helped the average person and shifted a little more to the wealthy people.
And some big changes on transportation as well, including delay of some projects, right?
Yes, definitely some significant changes on transportation, which had held them up for a very long time. The ultimate deal borrows about $400 million for transportation. That's included. Some of that's in the Foxconn bill. Some of that's in the budget. That's less than the governor had wanted, less than Senate Republicans had wanted. And that is going to mean the east-west I-94 project in Milwaukee is not going to advance. The north leg of the Zoo interchange is not going to happen. Those are the two real big delays that are going to cause some consternation for southeastern Wisconsin. Looks like could be other delays around the state because of this more constrained transportation budget.
And now on the Foxconn deal, the Joint Finance Committee also made some changes, including an interesting change involving how litigation might be handled. Walk me through what happened there.
Yeah, that's the most significant change there. What would happen is that if there's a challenge in court, and there certainly could be because of the environmental aspects of this deal, after a circuit court decision, it could immediately go to the state Supreme Court instead of going to the normal Court of Appeals. And then when it got to the Supreme Court, or as soon as it was appealed to the Supreme Court, any rulings of the circuit court would be immediately suspended and then only put back in place if the Supreme Court took some action to do that.
Has this ever happened before, as far as you know?
I don't know of. I mean, gosh, I'm not aware of a precedent like that. There are some constitutional concerns that some attorneys have raised, particularly on the point regarding suspending orders of the lower court. The concern would be the separation of powers. How much can the legislature tell the court about how it needs to operate its separate branch of government?
And this is tailored only for suits involving Foxconn, though, correct?
It's tailored for any business that is in this that gets this deal. So this particular deal is going to go to Foxconn. Were some other company to get the same type of deal in this what they call an enterprise zone, then they would also benefit from it. But clearly it is targeted for Foxconn, just like the entire legislation is targeted for Foxconn.